What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a loot guide for episode 2, Revenant in Destiny 2. So we're going to talk about some of the new rewards, and more specifically, we'll focus on how to actually acquire the new rewards this episode. And so, of course, there is this tonic crafting component, these sort of potions that we can brew, which is certainly a bit confusing when we first get into it. It's slightly convoluted, we should say, but I'll do my best to explain how all of that works, and that's how we'll get access to new weapons from this episode, so that's something worth knowing. Of course, those weapons will also drop in Onslaught Salvation, the key mode for Act 1 of the episode. So we'll break down everything to understand in the new hub, and of course the loot system. We'll also speak about exotic class item attunement, how you can get into that, as well as how to unlock the new exotic armor pieces for the episode. And much like in the final shape, that does require a bit of work, it's safe to say. And so we're going to talk about it all in the video. As always, I hope you enjoy this one and find it useful. If you do, a rating below very much helps us on the channel, but without further delay, let's get into it. And so starting out in Revenant right here, I've actually completed all of the quest steps which are given to us for this first week. And Bungie had said that they were going to be dropping the Act 1 story all in one go. I'm assuming that that has happened. The quest was actually very, very short, so it didn't take a long time to get done really, probably only a couple of hours at the most. So we'll have to see if more stuff unlocks next week or whether that's it for Act 1, and Bungie kind of slimmed down those quests by removing all of the very pointless steps like punching 1,000 Scorn in the face. That could simply be the case, and this is actually the full story for Act 1. Give us your thoughts down below. Let's speak about loot though. So for episode loot for Revenant, of course there's a handful of new weapons and armor, some of them pretty juicy actually. And of course we can get drops of these by playing Onslaught Salvation, so that bit is very self-explanatory, it works in the normal way. But then there is the potions or tonics kind of component of this as well, and some of those tonics will improve rewards, others will interact with the artifact and give additional sandbox bonuses which last for a set period of time. And so in the new social hub, or the new hub for Revenant, of course there is the tonic table initially, and here we've got all of the tonic types that we currently have access to. So along the top right there, you can kind of scroll through and look at all of the different bonuses. I should mention it's worth completing the intro quest, which does sort of touch on the tonic system a little bit. And yes, it is convoluted and confusing to say the least, at least when we first get into it. But essentially from this list at the tonic table, we can select a tonic which sounds good, whether it's a reward or sandbox focused one. Once we've selected a tonic, the brewing process begins, and we need to head over to the shelves on the right hand side, and there we can gather the ingredients. And from there, we simply take them over to the tonic brewing elixir apparatus, as Bungie refer to it here. And from there, we can do a little taste test and then ultimately imbue the tonic, which actually produces one, which will drop on the ground. Once we've made one, we can head to the tonic capsule in our inventory, and this is where we can actually apply them. So on the left-hand side right here, we've got volatile tonics, and these are the sandbox focused ones that interact with some of the artifact perks. So we can see they boost artifact perks, and that lasts for 20 minutes. On the right-hand side though, there are enriching tonics, and these are all of the ones which are associated with rewards. So the tonic of Onslaught gear allows completing activities and defeating combatants to have a chance to drop the Shadestalker armor, the new armor set for the episode, as well as Onslaught Salvation weapons or vintage Onslaught weapons. And when we pop one of those, we can see that they last for 20 minutes. Of course though, the tonics actually require reagents, which are essentially the ingredients for the tonics, and these can be earned by completing fieldwork quests. So on Ido's menu, there's a Fieldwork tab with various different levels of quests. Some of them grant more materials, so it's worth completing some of these quests. The ingredients can also be earned by playing Revenant activities, and apparently we'll be able to access more of the Fieldwork quests as we discover tonic recipes. And according to the pop-up in-game, we can discover more powerful tonic formulas, essentially the recipes, by synthesizing related tonics. So presumably, as this episode goes on, and as we continue to produce tonics and use them, new recipes will essentially unlock, which are more potent versions of the ones that we have initially. So it's kind of a self-explanatory process in a way, but there is that initial learning curve, I guess, of figuring out all of these different menus. Like I said, it's a bit convoluted. But once you sort of get into it, continue to produce new tonics, actually craft them at the elixir apparatus in the Helm Hub, and we should, over a period of time, get access to new tonic recipes. And the tonic capsule also gives us a bit of an indicator as to where some of the materials will come from. So the first 4 are obtained by defeating enemies or through various sources throughout the system, although the most efficient efficient way to get them is from episode Revenant activities, so we'll be getting plenty of those anyway. Then there's Enriching Flake, which is obtained exclusively from Onslaught Salvation. And then the last 4 materials aren't currently available. There's Tomb Flake, and we get this by completing Tomb of Elders activities. So that's the updated Prison of Elders that we'll be getting in Act 2, I guess confirmed by this menu now. Also, there's Reflective Flake, which we'll obtain from the exotic missions Kel's Fall, and that presumably will be the Act 3 mission. And then there are a couple on the end which are earned through higher difficulty Revenant activities. So that pretty much sums it up. Once you know those basics, we'll simply discover more of this the more that we actually play the game, and that's how we can unlock more of the rewards for episode Revenant. So that is the first part of the loot guide. Again, more complicated than it feels like it probably should be, but you can give me your thoughts on that down below. Another couple of things I wanted to mention though in this video, and firstly, exotic class item attunement. So if you want to attune for exotic class items, simply head to the Ghost in the Lost City area of the Pale Heart. So that's the main vendor for Pale Heart. And then there'll be an attunement menu on the bottom of their screen. And we can attune to 1 perk at a time, which will increase the chance for exotic class items to drop with that selected perk. So once we've done the attunement, of course, the typical sources, overthrow activities on Pale Heart, as well as the Dual Destiny mission, are how we'll actually get exotic class items dropped still. It just means that we have a higher chance to get the perk that we've attuned to, but again, only one of them in one of the columns can be attuned to at a time. So we'll have to see how that pans out. The other thing I wanted to mention though is how to acquire the new exotic armor pieces for episode Revenant. And we'll do this via Master Raoul, the Cryptarch. Of course, we now have a Cryptarch rank. That has been reset as we've gone into this new episode. So we essentially have to do all of the work that we did back in the final shape again. There are some folks that have been saving exotic engrams. I started to save them, but I don't quite have enough to actually get the tier 3 decryption option from the Cryptarch. But essentially, by opening engrams, we'll get Cryptarch reputation. And going back to a video I made in the final shape, Engineer7 on Reddit had posted that it takes 12 tier 2 focuses, so the second focusing menu for exotics on Raoul, which costs an exotic engram as well as 2 ascendant shards. And every time we focus an exotic piece here, we'll get 500 reputation. We need a total of 6,000 reputation, so again, that's 12 tier 2 focuses, and of course 24 ascendant shards, or you can do 24 advanced focuses, or simply turn in 40 exotic engrams, or any combination of turning in engrams that result in reputation. So if you want to be really efficient, if you have exotic engrams, as well as ascendant shards, and you don't mind spending them, do the 12 tier 2 focuses and you'll be able to reset Raoul's rank at rank 16. Otherwise, continually turn in engrams in whatever variation, and you'll eventually get to that rank 16 where we can reset, and that will unlock the advanced focusing, or the third menu for exotic focusing, where we can simply select a brand new exotic. So that's basically how to do it. If you've already got loads of exotic engrams and ascendant shards, you're in luck. Otherwise, yes, there will be a bit of a time investment before we'll actually be able to get access to the exotic armor pieces. I think I just need another 4 exotic engrams. I wish I'd have just finished getting them last week, but hey, there we go. So those are the main sort of bits of loot outside of things like the icebreaker, which we know is coming from the dungeon. Of course, the other exotic that we've got access to from the season pass. And of course, there will be an exotic mission in Act 3, as well as other legendary weapons introduced into the pools in the upcoming acts. But for the moment, those are the legendaries that we can get access to, both armor and weapons, exotic class item attunement, and indeed the brand new exotic armor pieces for Revenant. So I hope the video has been useful, guys. If it has, a rating below really helps us on the channel. Feel free as well to get subscribed so that I can keep you up to date with more Destiny content. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.